per requirement, you can go for 100 also. It's up to you. I have given example as 6. Manual scaling, schedule scaling, and dynamic scaling. So guys, the 3 type of scaling options. What are those? Manual, schedule, and dynamic scaling. Write down. Manual, schedule, and dynamic. So what is this manual scaling called? So guys, if you are manually increasing the number of desired capacity, so desired capacity is 4. Guys, if I go and edit the desired capacity as 5, that meaning one more EC2 instance will launch automatically na, to handle the load. Yes. So if you are manually, guys, if you are manually modifying desired capacity, guys, and that is called manual scaling. Or you can modify minimum values and maximum values. All these are all manually modifying it. That is called manual. Schedule scaling. Can we say this sometimes on Fridays or on Saturdays we have dhamaka sales, like festival seasons, right? At that particular on Friday or Saturday, especially we can go ahead and then schedule it. So based on the time period or a day. So I need the auto scaling should be happening only on that particular day. Yes, you can schedule it. You can fix the time and keep it ready. Automatically at that time, this scale out will be happening automatically. And dynamic scaling, no, it has its own Mahindra. No need of Lambda function here. The console will have option to schedule it directly. Cron expressions or whichever it is. So dynamic scaling is based on the load. Based on the load. So based on the load meaning, guys, let's say for example, if your auto scaling group average CPU utilization is greater than that, or if you take network related or ELB request count, how many count are getting. So based on the load, auto scaling will be happening. And guys, that is called dynamic scaling. Guys, what is this called? Metrics, na? CPU, network, ELB request, memory, all this called metrics. But which service, in which service do you get all these things metrics? In CloudWatch, na? Right? In CloudWatch, na? Understood? Guys, understood everyone? So we have manual scaling, schedule scaling, and dynamic scaling. So guys, you tell me which one is the best out of it, out of 3? Yes, dynamic scaling is always best because we no need to worry about it. So you just you just need to mention how much, guys. Now this auto scaling group has become very intelligent. You need to just mention what would be the average CPU utilization. That's it. You can say that my average CPU utilization should be 60%, right? Average CPU utilization should be 60%. You just need to mention that. That's it. And everything is completely managed by auto scaling group. It will just keep on maintaining this 60%, whether it can scale out or whether it can scale in automatically. Understood? So, and another question for you guys, whenever the scale out is happening, one EC2 instance got launched and automatically one application is there inside it. How does this auto scaling group knows to keep your application here? Guys, how is it possible to have the application out there? Anyone? Excellent, Jyoti. Excellent, Jyoti. Image, AMI. Guys, we can keep our entire applications in the AMI. Na? So we have something called here launch configurations. What is that? Write down, everyone. Launch configurations. So we have something called launch configurations, guys, where you can create a launch configurations. What does the launch configuration contains? Guys, all your guys, we have 7 steps to launch an EC2 instance. Right? All these 7 steps we can keep it as a template. You can call it as launch configurations or you can call it as launch template. Both are same. What does it contain? It contains AMI details. Can you have your own AMI with application inside it already? Yes. It contains volume details. It contains security group details. It contains key details. It contains tags details. It contains instance type details, etc. All these details will keep it as a launch configuration, or you can call it as launch template, or you can call it as launch template. So we will tell auto scaling group to use this launch configuration and then launch the EC2 instance. So this EC2 instance should contains all this information, right? Volumes, tags, key pairs, instance type, AMIs, all this information should be there. So using this launch template or launch configuration, auto scaling group will launch the EC2 instance. Chicha, understood? So auto scaling group is a combination of, definitely you need to have ELB plus EC2 instances plus your launch configs plus, if you need to have notifications, then you can go for XML. Everyone understood about auto scaling? CC? Aarti, Abhinay, Ahmad, Amol, Anusha, Bharat, Bhimesh. Where are you? Arjit, Kalyan, Kiran, Prasad, Mahesh, Meera, Gaussbhai. Yes, yes, please respond. Sardar. Good. So that is about this auto scaling. So now let's go to very important topic, which is elastic load balancer. You might have, what situation we need to use auto scaling? Everyone knows that, Ramakant. So guys, when do we use auto scaling? So let's say, for example, you keep only 3 EC2 instances and you have the load balancer. And these 3 EC2 instances are always sufficient for you to handle your load? No, na. So why to take a risk? Put it in auto scaling group and give the maximum value. That's it. And you just need to worry about all these things. Whenever the traffic increase, the scale out and scaling will be happening. It in order to increase your, in order to handle your high availability, auto scaling is very important. Okay, now come back to load balancer. So most of the people might have already understand what is load balancer. Guys, what is load balancer? What is the definition that I teach you? What is load balancer? ELB, which distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability zones. Very good. ELB is completely managed by ELB is completely managed by AWS. We know that. And also, ELB is a service or a server for us. ELB is just a service by AWS. It is not a server for us. No. Can you log into the ELB or can you access the ELB? ELB can be accessed via URL. URL meaning what? DNS name. you cannot log into the ELB. No, you cannot log into the ELB. You need to just access it. If you want me to draw the diagram, the same diagram I can draw again for you, which is ELB. And we have our EC2 instances, big wala EC2 instances. Chicha. समझ में आ रहा है सबको? क्या अरफात भाई? So these are all ECC. Okay, good. So this is EC2 instance. EC2 instance. EC2 instance. Do you remember our? Can I have our sample application like index.html file? Can I have our own? Right? Can we have our own index.html, our application? That's an example. So on top of it, we can have our own auto scaling group. Can we set it up auto scaling group on top of it? Yes, it's up to us. It's up to us. No one will stop us. And of course, you have a health checks here. Health checks. What is the status? What is the code that you get it? 200. We know that. And then whenever you launch and whenever you create we get a DNS name. Do you remember we'll get a nasty URL now? Guys, we'll get a nasty URL, right? How does that nasty URL look like? Very jungly URL. http:// if you give a name called mylb dot blah 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 name number dot elb dot ap minus south minus 1 dot aws dot amazon aws.com. Itna bada nasty URL, you get it. And then how do you do the makeup for the nasty URL? Which service is that? Exactly. Route 53. So we can go and set up, we can do the makeup in Route 53. So nicely, you can give any name, http://boom.com. We know very well about all these things. Yes or no? Yes. So we have, and remember about our RMF, high availability concept, redundancy, monitoring, and failover. So here we need to keep the same application index.html for all the EC2 instances. Now, guys, you know very well that, let's say, for example, if you take Facebook, which one is exposed? ELB, application server, or DB server? Which one is exposed to the internet? ELB. So there might be a few companies, let's say, for example, there are few companies which will say that, hey, if you want that particular website or application to be accessed inside my internal network of my company, let's say, for example, we are working for Infosys, example. We are in Infosys. And there is a customer who is saying that we need to access that application inside Infosys. But Infosys wala is telling that, hey, customer, if I want to access your application, give me the URL. And I have given boom.com. And Infosys guy is telling that, no, I don't want boom.com. Give me the IP address. Give me the IP address of boom.com. So guys, is it possible for us to give the IP addresses of boom.com? So boom.com is nothing but he's asking the IP address of ELB only, na? Boom.com is nothing but our load balancer only. Is it possible for us to give the IP addresses for the load balancer? Purely no. And then we told to the Infosys that, hey, Infosys, so I cannot provide the IP addresses of my boom.com, because it is a ELB which is completely managed by AWS. And Infosys said that no, definitely in my firewall, I need to give the IP addresses of your application. Without IP addresses, we cannot move forward. So I cannot give the IP address as it is ELB, and Infosys is not cooperating that they definitely need to have the IP address. What to do in this case? I'm talking about ELB, not anything else. So guys, and I told you the URL, I told you a small command that to guys, what is the command to get to see the IP address of any website? NS lookup na? NS lookup, right? So I did NS lookup to the load balancer, that meaning boom.com. I got the IP address. See? So that meaning I got the IP address of the load balancer. Yes, no? Yes or no? Every website, every load balancer will have the IP address. And I was really happy, and I gave the IP addresses to the Infosys. And Infosys put that IP address in the firewall, and the application started working inside Infosys. Very good. After one day, the application is not working from Infosys again. Why? What is the problem? What is the reason? IP got changed. IP got changed. So how many times I will be giving this change IP address to the Infosys? Is it good to give? No. That is the reason why AWS said that, hey, don't use the IP addresses of the load balancer, because load balancer is completely managed by AWS. So guys, do you see this here? This is the load balancer, which is completely managed by AWS. So guys, can you tell me how much ever huge traffic come to the load balancer? Do we need to care about it? No, because this performance of the load balancer, scalability, elasticity is completely managed by AWS. So guys, load balancer is just a service, but isn't it like beside the load balancer, definitely there might be a servers for him in the backend. Load balancer is just a name, but in the backend there will be a servers only, na? There will be servers only. These servers are completely managed by AWS, not us. So now you might have these many servers, but later when there is no traffic, maybe AWS will take off the servers and keep it 3. And whenever there is a new traffic, and automatically the servers will come up. So that meaning, guys, what will happen? What is this? The IP address are static or dynamic? In this case, if we have servers are coming up and down, it is dynamic. That is the reason why AWS says that, hey, don't use the load balancer's IP address. Use only the DNS name, because the backend, the logic is this. So now, but here Infosys is strictly asking for, I need to have a static IP address. Yes, but that Harjit, that is dynamic, na? That is dynamic, right? So Infosys guy is now definitely asking for, hey, I need to please give me the static IP address. Is it possible to give the static IP address with this scenario here? You know? So for this reason, you can contact AWS and say that, hey, AWS, please give me the static IP address. AWS with very bad face, he'll say that, hey, I don't want to give the IP address, but if you're requesting and if it is mandatory, then what I do is, guys, he will ask n number of questions, and how much is the load, how many people are accessing, when it is peaking, when it is highly accessible, etc., etc. He will ask n number of questions, and he will give you those many IP addresses. Let's say, for example, 6 IP addresses based on your load. Guys, auto scaling will be happening only in the 6 IP addresses now, static IP addresses. So AWS will keep only how many machines in the backend of a ELB? Only 6 machines. But if you restrict for 6 machines, aren't you compromising the performance of the load balancer here? Then, so that is the reason why you don't use the static IP addresses. But just in case, if at all you want, you can ask anytime AWS. But remember, you are compromising the performance of the load balancer. Do you understand the concept of IP addresses, dynamic IP addresses? And if you want static IP addresses, then you need to contact AWS for it. See, guys. So very important, right? So I'll write it for you. Here, ELB has the IP address. ELB has the IP address, but these are dynamic. But these are dynamic. AWS always recommends to use ELB DNS name, not IP address. Kada? Ena? Avdalwa? ELB has dynamic IPs. If you need static IP, contact AWS support. Is this clear? Don't worry, we have the solution also for that. Now let's talk about different types of load balancers. Different types of load balancers. So guys, there are different types of load balancers. Number one, 1 second, guys. Yeah. So Excel knows already all the information, yeah. Huh? Okay. So we call it as application load balancer. हाँ, दूसरे पकड़ेगा एक मैं नहीं. Other people will feel bad. They think that अरे मुझको नहीं पता इसलिए. हाँ. So application load balancer, network load balancer, and classic load balancer, and finally gateway load balancer. So we call it as, in shortcut, ALB. Write down all these things: NLB, CLB, GLB. Write down, guys. Very important. Application load balancer, network load balancer, classic load balancer, gateway load balancer. Very good. So, guys, the first load balancer which was created by AWS initially, the very first one is this CLB, classic load balancer. So this is the very first one, and which is like, this is very previous generation. That meaning Everyone in olden days, they used to go with this classic load balance because that was the only one load balancer which was there with AWS. So this support HTTP, HTTPS, and then TCP. And TCP. HTTP, HTTPS, and then TCP. So due to n number of reasons, somehow this classic load balancer could not able to solve many things. And for that reason, AWS introduced a new load balancers, which this one, application load balancer, which is latest generation. So this application load balancer, network load balancer, gateway load balancer, all these are all latest generation. And this application load balancer also support HTTP and HTTPS both, right? Guys, whenever guys, load balancer, definitely we need to have a load balancer in order to host our application, deploy our application, right? Yes. So out of these load balancer, which one is the most commonly used or default choose load balancer is this application load balancer only. So this is the default choose is ALB always. Always ALB. 95% people will go with the application load balancer only, because this is best fit for your HTTP and HTTPS applications. And also this is best for microservices. Nowadays, you have all your Kubernetes, Dockers, etc. Right? For that also, you need to have a load balancer, right? This application load balancer supports quite well for this requirement. And network load balancer, this is, as the name says, works on TCP level, network layer level. Guys, in generally in our data centers, we have some load balancers also in data centers, yes or no, to generate the traffic, to distribute the traffic, or to hold the traffic, like upstream servers and all. For this network layer related thing, in that case, you need to go for network load balancer. For application related thing, go for this. For network related thing, go for this. So if you need to have extreme high performance, guys, go for this. If extreme high performance, extreme high performance, and this is mostly on the network level. Yes. And for remember, for this network layer, or for the big networking related components, is it good to have static IPs or dynamic IPs for this network layer things? For network layer things, is it good to have dynamic or static? Think. Dynamic meaning what? It'll keep on changing. Is it good in the big machines? Is it good to change the IP addresses just like that? No, not good, na. So it is good to have a, so static IPs will be supported by the network load balancer, right? I'll talk about the IP addresses later, Siddharth. So this gateway load balancer is mostly used for the security related thing, security compliance and all. So mostly we'll be talking more about this application load balancer, guys. So in this application load balancer, we have mainly two important things. We call it as routing features. Write down. Number one, we call it as host-based routing or path-based routing. Host-based routing and path-based routing. Is this clear till here before I go and talk about host-based and path-based routings? So let me give you a real-time example. Guys, listen this carefully. I have the load balancer. Application load balancer, Ashish. So this is load balancer, and we have okay. All will come under ELB only. All are load balancers only, but different types. So, guys, let's say, for example, here we have Rahul. So, if anyone is hitting http://rahul.com. So, I'll be having a rahul.com application here, na? Yes or no? I'll be having a rahul.application here, and everyone is hitting. If anyone hit rahul.com, then obviously it come here. It'll come here to this load balancer. That is good. So, guys, can you tell me, isn't it, can't I have like this web.rahul.com with the same domain? I have the subdomains web.rahul.com, like admin.rahul.com. Can I have it? Yes. You tell me here, can I send this web.rahul.com traffic to this ELB? No, na? Because, guys, what is so is it possible for me to put the like this and put web.rahul.com? Is that good? Web.rahul.com. Is that good to put like this? Where is redundancy? Where is redundancy? No. So for web.rahul.com, what I need to do? I need to go ahead and then create one more load balancer. Yes or no? And put web.rahul.com application here. Chitty, see, architecting. So this is a ELB, and now here I put web.rahul.com. So web.rahul.com. Can you tell me, is it possible for me to send admin.rahul.com to this ELB? No, for that I need to create one more one more ELBs. One more ELB? Yes. So for how long, for each and every small website, I need to go ahead and create a multiple load balancers? Is it good to have multiple load balancers for one single domain? No, that was the topic with CLB. These are all CLBs, classic load balancer. So this classic load balancer doesn't support. For each and every requirement, you need to go for this multiple ELBs with CLB. You need to create multiple load balancers with the CLB for this requirement. But now you no need to worry. We have another load balancer just now we have discussed, which is called ALB. Let's talk about how this ALB works, application load balancer. So in this application load balancer, so let's say someone is coming with rahul.com. http://rahul.com. For rahul.com, I need to have my EC2 instances with the Rahul application, right? Rahul.com application. So rahul.com. So these are all my EC2 instances with rahul.com. So rahul.com, rahul.com, rahul.com. So guys, these are all EC2 instances only, na? So don't think that kya iska lambe phaile chhod gaya. So these are all EC2 instances. So anyone who is hitting rahul.com, this will directly go and hit this. So in application load balancer, there is a feature called target group. What is that? Target group. Guys, what is that? Target group. target group. So we can create multiple target groups. Guys, what does the target group contains? Targets. Targets meaning what? EC2 instances only. EC2 instance only. So guys, in this application load balancer, we have something called rules. Host-based rules, path-based routing. Host-based routing, path-based routing, right? So here, let's say, for example, host-based routing. Let's talk about host-based routing here. Host-based routing. Host-based routing meaning if someone is hitting rahul.com, we'll create a rule saying that, hey, if someone is hitting rahul.com, send it to this target group. Let's say this target group is called Rahul TG. Send to this Rahul TG. So now I will I'll go with some other name now, web.rahul.com. http://web.rahul.com. For this, I need to go ahead and then create the EC2 instances. Like this. And for this, I have here web.rahul.com. So, guys, and this is the another target group. This is another target group. So call it as target group, call it as web TG. Right? And then whoever is hitting, guys, whoever is hitting web.rahul.com, this load balancer will send the traffic to this particular target group. How? So by creating rules. What rules? So in this application load balancer, we can create a rules and we can redirect based on the target group. And if someone, this is called host-based routing. Guys, you have something like this also, na? Developers, can you tell me, you will have http://rahul.com /admin, like based routing. Guys, you will have the separate website also like this, na, everyone. And this is called path-based routing. So guys, based on your requirement, you can leverage. If someone is hitting, coming with rahul.com with /admin at the end, so you can create a separate target group for that as well. So like this. So this would be here inside /admin. So if someone is coming with /admin, this load balancer will redirect to this /admin by creating rules. Guys, with one load balancer, do you see this? How many things we can do it for this, guys? By creating multiple target groups, you can send it like this. Understood? With one and only one load balancer, you can do many things like this. Understood, guys, everyone? Now the difference between classic load balancer and then application load balancers. Any questions? Any questions? So what we do tomorrow, I think tomorrow we will finish mostly the EC2 theory. Tomorrow would be the last day for the theory session of EC2. And from day after tomorrow, continuously labs on EC2. Ignore gateway load balancers. Concentrate on application load balancer. The request will hit the load balancer, na? It will read. So tomorrow we'll talk about different types of IP addresses, right? And tomorrow will be the we'll have little bit of theory, and then we'll go ahead and then launch EC2 instance. Whatever the topics that we have learned, everything we'll implement in the practicals. So now your practicals will be very, very, very simple, because guys, now see, EC2 is the backbone of AWS. Now you know in and out on EC2. So you can clear the certification also, any questions related to EC2, and you can clear interview also related with the questions related to EC2. That is the power of the theory now. Now, next week, I mean, after day after tomorrow, what we'll be doing? How to work in the real time, how to create, how to launch EC2 instances, how to architect it, how to schedule it, how to do the everything, whatever we have learned, we'll be doing the practicals. First half, interview and certifications. Second half, real time practicals. And remember, this EC2 is the only the biggest topic. Rest topics are 1 or 2 days only, maximum 3 days each service. Take the screenshots. No, not in Route 53, Khalid. In load balancer, we need to define, not in Route 53. Route 53, khaliboom.com, that's it. Or web dot. You will be hitting rahul.com or web.rahul.com in the Route 53. And when it comes to load balancer, the same load balancer, it will distribute to that different target groups. Let me know once done. And second one. Done. If you, to whom you are asking, Ramakant? To students or for me? Put the question. No need to even ask. Just put the question. Acha. Okay. Yes, sir. Tell me. Put the question. Good. Waiting, sir, for your question. Any other questions? Any people ask? What? SG is controlled by firewall. Is that true or false? Other people. Security group is controlled by firewall. It's not relevant. Security group, firewall. Yeah, Sajia has already replied. Sheetal has already replied. Security group is like a firewall only. You might have seen the first line I have wrote is, it acts like a firewall. I didn't get the concept of firewall in SG. You didn't understood properly then. Firewall is not different. Security is not different. Both are same. Okay, now Ramakant. Both are same. There is no concept of firewall. Security group itself, because I gave such a nicely lovely concept, Bahubali and Kattappa, right? So security group itself is a firewall. Okay, na? Great. Good. So guys, in previous class, Linux for putty sets I didn't understand. Don't worry, Sagar. When we do the practicals, you'll understand. What are the maximum number of rules that can be defined in SJ? There is a limit, but you can define more, many things. But there is a limit, 50, I think. In how many days will complete the entire Algo? Dekho, Saad bhai. From here, we'll go, maybe it may... Guys, aren't we going slow? I think we are going very slow. This is good. Yeah. Okay, on Saturday, let's try. Saturday. Okay, let's try. Tomorrow, I'll try to finish the theory, and Saturday we'll take a little bit more extra time. Is that good? If you really want, depend upon the topic. Sure, Hari. Some definitely. Don't worry, leave it on me, guys. Okay. Can you give the final CC for today? Yes, we can do that. Mohsin bhai. Thank you, Sajia. Watch SVP. My last movie was Bahubali 2. Okay. Great. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you tomorrow with the next topic. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. And see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.